keeping them shh, silent, silent. Don't say nothing. Hmm. Interesting. So I guess the question I would have, and I know this is, probably a little cruel in itself to even ask this question. Do you think the governor going to get his way, or do you think that they're going to say that this is not a good way to do death row? That to me is a question I think that everybody needs to be paying attention to. And let me tell you why I think y'all should be paying attention to it. All right, Gerard, what you saying? I'm saying that, have y'all realized who's being executed? Have you thought about it? Have you found out what they did? Why they on death row? Have you had your conversations about it? Do you think the man's rights are being violated? Because I can tell you, more than likely, the folks that are being executed and on death row look like you and me. Have you researched it? Have you researched it to find out? Do you care? Because I think that we all need to be looking around and saying, wait a minute. Are you the lowest common denominator when it comes down to the ethnicity of who lives in the state creating and doing crimes, but looking to see who is being put to death? And why all of a sudden we went from 15 years of hiatus and now we're back to it, looking to say, can we find new ways to kill you? Like, geez. For real? For real? So I really feel, in my hearts of hearts, y'all, that there is now a big push for death row inmates to be taken out of this earth, sent to heaven or hell, whichever one. But now there is a ruling that has said, up, hiatus. We're gonna put a hiatus on this right now. So we're gonna give you your day in court because you got only 19 more days before we are supposed to put you to death with nitrogen gas. So you filed a lawsuit and your people filed a lawsuit. Let me read it here. Coming from out of Baton Rouge, a Louisiana death row inmate scheduled to be the state's first execution in 15 years has filed a federal complaint and a motion seeking to block his execution, citing concerns about the use of nitrogen hypoxia. Jesse Hoffman, who is set to be executed on March 18th for the 1996 murder of New Orleans and executive Molly Elliott, argues in court filings that Louisiana execution protocol is undisclosed and violates its constitutional rights. His attorney claims that the state has refused to release details about the method, despite scheduling his execution less than a month away. The lawsuit says that nitrogen hypoxia, which replaces its oxygen with nitrogen and causes death by suffocation, has led to prolonged and distressing executions in Alabama, the only state to have used it. Hoffman's legal team is challenging the secrecy surrounding Louisiana's execution protocol, claiming it denies him due process and raises concerns about potential cruel and unusual punishment. Louisiana's nitrogen gas protocol is completely untested, and no court has had a chance to review it. That comes from Cecilia Capel, an attorney for Mr. Hoffman. We haven't had or have been able to see the full protocol ourselves, with Jesse's execution set for just 3 weeks from now. His legal team is seeking a preliminary injunction to prevent the execution from moving forward until the state discloses its procedures and a court reviews the constitutionality of the method. Louisiana Attorney General Liz Merrill has previously defended the state's decision to use nitrogen hypoxia, arguing that it has and was adopted after difficulties in obtaining drugs for lethal injections. Hoffman has also filed a supplemental clemency application emphasizing his rehabilitation and transformation over nearly 3 decades in prison. If the execution proceeds, Hoffman is going to be the first person put to death in Louisiana since 2010. Since 2010. Interesting. Interesting. You're going to be the first person put to death since 2010. I guess I'll ask the question. 504-582-9422. The death penalty. And this way of doing it. How y'all feel about that? How y'all feeling about the death penalty and the way that they're going to do it with this hypoxia, this method of putting people to death? So I understand the death, and he's been put in jail, and he spent 30 years in jail. But isn't this the same type of conversation that we need to be having about the Mendez brothers who killed their own parents? 2 people with shotguns killing them. And yet they spent 30 years in jail already as well. But the conversation piece with them is, oh, they done got rehabilitated. They're doing better. They should be let go. That's in the news every single day almost. Well, Mr. Hoffman's attorney is saying, well, you all need to know about him being rehabilitated and moving forward and getting some type of transformation in his life. We're trying to put him to death. Well, does that make you an advocate for the death penalty or not, Gerard? No. I'm going to stay out of that one. I want to hear what you say. And the reason I want to do that is because that could be anybody's loved one. That could be your mama. That could be your sister. That could be your wife. That could be anybody's relative. And sometimes emotions speak louder than not being or having any type of, you don't have no type of footing in the game. None whatsoever. So it is stated that this man is guilty of killing someone in 2010? When was this? And he was actually, his protocols and warrants were signed in 2012 to be put to death. Are you a part of this? Yeah, I believe in the death penalty. or no? If that's your mother, sister, anybody in your family, what would you do? Yeah, put him to death. He'd been available for 30 years to do so. So one of the issues that I have with this is not the fact that, we sitting back and going, well, we're going to judge if somebody should be put to death or not. And yeah, that might be a bad conversation piece, and I hope y'all forgive me for it, but I really need to know how you feel about it. That's number one. And then number two, it is a fact that this was sitting dormant as far as being on death row. There was a lot of people sitting on death row, but the majority of them that's sitting on death row in a state that we are the least 13% of the whole nation, we're going to sit back and say, okay, yep, let's get them all. But have you thought about who's on death row? Us. Us. And I think that's a question that needs to be talked about. I really do. I really do. We need to take the break. All right, you can get in on the conversation at 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. Give us a ring dang. Let's talk about it, y'all. More coming up in a minute, right here on WBOK.
New Orleans, are you ready? A fresh voice in the city is here, bringing you the beats, the culture, and the stories that matter. From local music and food to real talk on what's happening in the streets. We've got you covered. Stay tapped in. Follow us on all platforms at WBOK 1230 for the latest updates and exclusive content. Your city, your culture, your news. Don't just hear about it, be about it. Follow WBOK 1230 now.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Let's talk about the racist con game being played by the Trump administration, using DEI as a foil. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is being perpetrated by mostly white, ultra-conservative men as a policy rooted in so-called reverse racism to elevate black workers at the expense of white workers, specifically white men. So exactly what is DEI? It is a set of practices that promote fair treatment and people from all backgrounds. President Trump and his MAGA allies are using DEI as a wrecking ball to dismantle opportunities for people of color and other marginalized groups in our society. Some critics characterize this as a move to plunge the nation back into the dark days of pre-civil rights America. Who can forget the callous bigotry on display by the president when he attempted to, without any evidence, mind you, to blame the fatal helicopter and plane collision at Reagan International Airport on DEI? Quote, "They actually came out with a directive too white," he told reporters, blaming former President Barack Obama and Joe Biden for including black and Latino people in the federal workforce. "We want the people that are competent," he says. We now know that to be just another of the many lies that we've heard from the president. The pilots involved in that tragic incident were all white. Here are the facts about who benefits most from DEI programs. According to a report by Medium Corporate Publishing on February 5th, 2025, white women, men, and predominantly white institutions have leveraged diversity, equity, and inclusion programs to maintain and, in many cases, expand their advantages. Meanwhile, black and brown workers continue to be disproportionately represented in the workforce. Consider, white women have benefited the most from DEI programs, securing the majority of promotions and leadership positions. Asian Americans and Hispanic Americans have also benefited more than black workers from DEI hiring initiatives. Black and brown workers continue to be disproportionately underpaid, underpromoted, and underrepresented in positions of power. The DEI program, by the way, is an $8 billion with a B dollar industry, with most of the big contracts going to white-led consulting firms, according to the Harvard Business Review. On the contrary, diversity, equity, and inclusion is not hurting white people. It's making some of them rich. So when someone tells you that blacks are taking advantage of whites through DEI, tell them that's just a damn LIE. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Hello, I'm Sharon Levine, founder and director of Rise St. James. I want to invite you to our 6th annual Black History Ceremony on Saturday, February 22nd at Rosie's Catering in St. James, Louisiana.
Saturday, February 22nd, a day of unity and legacy with the theme of Mzizi Yakina, celebrating deep roots and enduring brilliance. Keynote speaker Heather McTeer-Tony, singing, education, and delicious soul food. Visit risestjames.org for details.
We hope you can join us at Rosie's Catering in St. James, Louisiana.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Hi, it's Dr. Shepard. I'm coming up next on the Reality Check on WBOK.
The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Gerard Stevens with you. It's Thursday. My number, 504-582-9422. The death penalty is large and in charge in Louisiana. Are we paying attention, or are we out here buck jumping because it's Mardi Gras time? They gonna get this past you? Because they getting ready to start putting people to death and using nitrogen to do it. We copy in Alabama. And somebody think that's okay. That somebody happens to be your governor as well as it is your attorney general. And they like, whatever. But his attorneys are saying, hey, it's violating his constitutional rights. Why is that? Why is it violating his constitutional rights? Do you? Now, maybe this needs to be presented to you in another case, in another fashion. Well, why you say that, Gerard? I got to say it got to be presented. And the reason why is because we start looking at it as in, well, what did he do? I'm looking at this and saying, just maybe, without me offending anyone, just maybe it shouldn't be about what he did. He's already on death row. Your governor and your attorney general are trying to find new ways of putting people to sleep because they're saying the drugs that they have to do the job aren't effective. If they're not effective, then why are we doing it? Y'all can't get the drugs effective that's going to put everybody to sleep. Don't sound right. Something don't sound right. What you say, Big Sid? Say it.
We don't care. Collectively, as a mass of people, we don't care. There's so much that's going on, but we don't care. We're going to go out there and beg for throws because we just don't care. We don't see the bigger picture. Whether you like Pastor Jamal Bryant or not from Baltimore, at least he's doing something with this boycott. You know, what local pastor is saying anything? We don't care. You know, we got mothers whose children have been taken away from them by a judicial system, by seemingly a NOPD not investigating, but we don't care. And I don't see where we're going to shift to care as a mass of people, man.
You don't think so?
No, we're not tired enough. We're not hurting enough.
I'm just a little bit disturbed that this is not like a topic of there's so many different things though said that's going on in this state that I'm like, okay, I know these conversations are happening in everybody's household, but it's interesting that this conversation about death row and that they want to put you to sleep now by another form of killing you, that no pastor, I saw the Jewish community stand up, but I haven't seen anybody else, especially when the majority of the folks that's on death row look like me and you.
Gerard, to be honest with you, we need perhaps a pastor with that Dr. King, Reverend Alexander temperament running for mayor. Maybe we need to be motivated. Mm-hmm. I see where Judge Hunter has come out in reference to running for mayor.
Right.
We were in a pickle, but we've lost the pickle, as the elders used to say. We're in a pickle. Now we in the pickle juice.
We're in the pickle. Yeah, we in the pickle juice, bro. Yep.
And thank you again for what you, Jazz, and WBOK does for us. And thank you for the informed listeners that call. I just don't know, what can we do? How can we motivate our people? Gerard Lashley, we are about to lose. We are embarking upon losing black leadership here in the city of New Orleans.
Don't lose it. I thought
we are losing it.
Already.
We will not have the mayor's office no more, and pretty soon we won't have the city council.
Yeah, we're getting ready to see that one.
It's happening now.
Yeah.
And once again, we've been talking about it for a couple of years now.
Yep.
Hey, man, have a good one.
Do the same, brother. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, D, hold on. We coming back. I got to do my news first. Let me do my news first, and then, because I know you're going to talk. So hold on. Don't go nowhere. More coming up, y'all. And get your calls in. 504-582-9422. News is next.
WBOK 1230 AM New Orleans. Home of the Reality Check. Weekdays 1 to 4 p.m.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. President Trump plans 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada starting April 2nd and on the European Union soon after, claiming the EU was, quote, formed to screw the United States. He delayed the initial date due to superstition. Accused killer Luigi Mangione in a Brooklyn jail asks fans to limit photo submissions to 5 at a time. He appreciates the support but says he can't respond to most letters. Donations to his defense fund total hundreds of thousands. Mangione pleaded not guilty to murdering CEO Brian Thompson. The Supreme Court temporarily paused an order requiring the Trump administration to release $2 billion in foreign aid by midnight. The Justice Department argued they needed more time. Responses are due by Friday. And rapper Young Thug will headline a festival in Belgium on July 5th, marking his first performance since his 2022 arrest and October release after accepting a plea deal. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
February is Black History Month. a time to honor the leaders and change makers who paved the way. At New Schools for New Orleans, we're celebrating the next generation of trailblazers, our students. Louisiana recently made historic gains on the nation's report card, climbing from the 49th to 32nd in just 5 years, our highest ranking ever. With progress in both ELA and math, we're proving what's possible. Tune in for Talk That on 12:30 a.m. at 12:30 p.m. as we uplift Black excellence, past, present, and future.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 12:30 a.m.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Gerard Stevens with you on Thursday. Yep, all the Mardi Gras stuff is in full effect, and I'm not talking about nothing about Mardi Gras, huh? I am talking about what's happening in the news. You all are looking around and saying, wait a minute, what happened? They are now bringing in this nitrogen hypoxia of being a way to kill you if you are on death row, and they're trying to make sure that we can start getting dates to start killing folks. Are you for the death penalty? Not for the death penalty? Are you for new ways of doing this? What's going on with us? Because the majority of the 56 people on death row are us. D.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. I listen to y'all every day around this time, but I'm always traveling and I just listen in. And something you said, it struck me to give you a call, even though I'm traveling right now. But you said, like, you know, they passing, you know, the legislation where you can, you know, kill people that way. And how you mentioned, you know, people are not talking about it. They all kind of caught in Mardi Gras. That's what kind of made me call, because me and my sister, we were talking so long last night on the phone about just how much different things are happening and how fast it's happening and how much it's changing. But like everybody kind of just care about partying.
Yep.
And not to try to like change the, you know, topic, because I know it's about, you know, the
no, I know you're gonna lead me somewhere.
Changes that. Yeah, but like we were talking about, because I didn't know about it. Like I came across some news last night, like they shut down some, you know, like the income-driven repayments that you can make.
The what? I'm
for
sorry.
Your federal loans, like educational loans. Like that whole website is shut down, and we were kind of talking about like what's about to happen next with all the people who owe all the loans for student loans and stuff. Like
they're gonna
like
fire. They're
what's
gonna
gonna
fire
happen
those
next
people,
with that?
and then they're not gonna have the people that can help you out when you need the help, or getting stuff done, and then you're gonna end up being in some type of late or derogatory status of your loan.
Right.
So.
And I was just like, is there a way to keep up with how much change is happening? Because I'm like, we kind of just, everybody's like, oh, it's Mardi Gras, let's dance, let's party. But it's like, I'm like, are they about to start sending letters like we want all our money back for student loans? Like, it's just so much stuff changing, and it's so quick, and it's so much to keep up with. It's like you're in derision. I can see why people only care about partying and dancing, you know?
Well,
it's too much.
I'll tell you this. I just think that a lot of stuff that's going on, folks are trying to not pay attention to it because they can't keep up.
Yep.
And at some point in time, you know, there's a level of denial that some folks might be looking at and saying, well, that ain't going to happen to me. But when I get back to, I'm going to kind of switch it back to this death row issue. I'm pulling up.
Yes.
I'm pulling up on the internet here. The death row inmates, who they are, and it's 56 of them. 56 of them, and I'm pulling up the names. I'm looking at the photos. I'm looking at. I gotta tell you, that's all us.
I know it is.
I'm looking at all the mug shots. I'm like, dang, that's us. What's wrong?
Like,
we the only ones
like the caller
on death
said
row?
before. Yeah, no one like, we're not caring.
Nope.
No one's paying attention. They just kind of just want to party, and that's kind of all they just pushing to us here. But I'm going to hang up and I'm going to listen. But, yeah, because I'm driving, but I'm just
Where
like,
you driving?
So
where you
much
at?
Stuff.
Where you at? So?
I'm uptown.
I thought you was like on a highway somewhere or something. So I thought you was
Yeah, I'm
in another
passing up all the
state
people
somewhere.
sitting on the parade routes right now. They all lining up.
Yeah, they all
outside.
lined up because we tried to get all the deputies and stuff together just so that they could do their stuff because we bringing in all the different deputies from all the different parishes, so they on the route, so they had to go out there and get their routes together because these parades starting early. They like 4:30 and 5:30 in the afternoon.
Yes.
So.
But I'm gonna listen in to you. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you, my dear. I appreciate you. Be careful out there.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Who we got on one? I'm going to give you the names, too, of those that are on. Man. Good Lord. Oh, that's Pop. Pop Jones.
Hey, G-Man.
What's going on with you?
Oh, everything and nothing.
Yeah?
Everything is going on, but nothing at the same time. Can you understand that?
Yeah, all the time.
All right, now. Look, G-Man, you asked the question, is a person for the death penalty. You know what I say about that?
What's that?
Hell no. Because in my lifetime, I've seen nobody but us. I'm not even for life without parole. Because a lot of innocent people been given life. When you hear a man say, I went in jail when I was 20 and is 60 now, and it has served 40 years and still survive, that's a miracle right there.
Right.
So who are we? I'm a person of faith. I don't know why some of these ministers don't call in. What I believe, G-Man, God say, somebody say only God could judge me now. And as a person of faith, he said he'll forgive you for everything but self-murder. Now, you have to ask a minister to explain that. I believe I have my idea about that, what it means, forgive for everything but self-murder. So I don't think, and why is it that these young lawyers and stuff in school, they able this every time they look up, they find out that these people were innocent.
Right.
So what man? And you listen to some of these damn crooks, man, that want children to have food, using the United States money to buy richness for themselves, punishing other countries. What about their brass?
Well, I was having a conversation with a couple of friends of mine, and they were like, man, how come there is none of these priests that have done these jobs on these kids? How come their crimes aren't worthy of being on death row?
Oh, buddy, now that's why you starting something.
Now you're getting into the hoopla because a lot of folks say
you starting something.
You're starting something. I think that should be a law that if you done been found guilty and you done raped the little kids and you're supposed to be a man or woman of faith.
Hallelujah.
That you are automatically put on the death row.
And a lot of them are responsible for kids to grow up as adults and don't know who they are.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Wow.
So it's going to be interesting to see what everybody sees.
Yes, indeed, G-Man.
So you not for the death row at all?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Because most of the people that have been put to death has been us.
Well, wait till you
I don't know who they don't notice.
I got the whole list. I got the whole list, and I'm going to bring them up in just a bit.
Hallelujah. Do that.
All right, sir. Appreciate you much.
All right.
Talk to you in a minute.
G-Man.
All right. Hey, Miss Anita.
Mr. G, how are you?
Good, dear. How you doing?
Good. I'm good.
Good. What you got for me?
I'm just getting off the topic a little bit because I was disturbed when I heard the little news that Tavis Smiley, which I listen at him also, is coming in your spot.
Mm-hmm.
So where is your spot going to be?
Oh, I'm gonna get in where I fit in. I'm gonna discuss that at
right,
another time. This ain't the time for that though. Right now, though. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm gonna discuss it. You ain't the only one. You ain't the only one. You ain't the only one. I ain't going nowhere here.
All right, that's all I need to know.
Oh.
But then back to your little topic with the death penalty. Well, we know when people do wrong, they should be punished for it, no matter who they are.
Now, some of these folks have been found innocent that have been put in there 30 and 40 years, and they've been found innocent. And there's been a couple of them that's been acquitted, and found not guilty because of evidence that hasn't been turned in. And some of these folks, I think, like the district attorneys that are trying to put these folks on death row, they should be held accountable to their actions as well, especially when they're hiding evidence.
And that should be that is correct. They should be responsible for them killing those people for no reason and not letting their family get into justice for them.
Mm-hmm.
They should be having justice for those families that was put to death for no reason, and they had the evidence to prove that they wasn't guilty of the crime, but they withheld it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're definitely responsible for that,
and
I think they should be accountable for what they did.
Okay. All right, my dear. I appreciate your call. Keep
All
listening.
right,
I'm gonna tell
always.
everything in a bit.
I know. Well, I appreciate you.
All right, my dear.
All right.
All right. Holly Grove Jan.
Holly Grove Jan calling in, Gerard. Listen, 3 things. First of all, how are you?
Good, my dear. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Like the lady before me, when I heard Tavis Smiley was taking your spot, I was like, okay, I got to call up and see what's going on. Now I realize they making changes over there and they're doing improvements and shifting and all that kind of stuff. But now, where are you going to be is what I need to know.
We're gonna
anyhow,
announce
you
it.
said you're going to come back and address that, so I'll just
We're gonna announce it. We're gonna address it. Okay.
All right. Okay, that was 1. 2, I am definitely not in favor of the death penalty because although there are crimes that I think need to be punished that way, that's not what happens. And it's always us who end up on death row and getting killed and not necessarily appropriately. So I say no. Because if they stay long enough, even if they spend years and they've been there, convicted when they weren't really innocent, they will at least have a chance to have some life. If they get executed, it's over and done. So I say no.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so now I'm gonna go a little bit further with you on this one.
Okay.
You're not for the death penalty. You gave me that reason, but
right.
Are you surprised that there's not a big outcry of the number of us men, especially on death row? There's some women too, but the number of black men that are on death row, and there's no real conversation happening within the black community about us using gas. Only people that I see that are saying hell to the no about this are the Jewish folks. And I got to tell you, they're stepping up on behalf of, you giving them PTSD because when they went through the Holocaust, that's what they were. They were put in chambers and gas.
In a gas chamber, right. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that they should be looking to find new and creative ways to execute people. They need to be finding ways to avoid that, to get around it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the establishment's way of eliminating more of us, as I see it.
Well, I'm surprised that there has not been a conversation because, look, this is, if I look at death row and I'm looking at the number of inmates, which I'm going to call out today, the majority of them are us, black men. And I'm looking around and saying, y'all let this gas thing go on. guess what? Next thing you know, we're going to be standing in front of firing squads.
Exactly. Well, didn't that man say he wanted to do that? He wanted to bring the guillotine and the firing squad.
He did. He did.
And he's not just making empty threats. When he says he wants to do something, he brings it into fruition. So we can look for it.
So if nobody,
if nobody does anything to resist this, it's going to be.
Yep, it's coming. So
yeah.
All right, my dear.
And the third thing was you mentioned the there being basically no repercussions for the priests who molested and abused children. If you notice, there's not even a whole lot in the judicial system for regular pedophiles when they get caught, because there are so many of them, and they're in high places, and they're people with money, and so nobody is, it seems, to be interested in punishing that.
Well, let me go back and change that a little bit, just a little bit, because they did arrest and put in jail one of the priests not too long ago, probably in the last month or two.
One out of how many, Gerard?
But did you see who he was?
No.
He was one of
he
us.
Black?
He was black.
Okay. See, that's my point.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not, how they say, justice is no justice, it's just us.
Yeah, and then they put him in for having sex with somebody and fathering. I think they said up to 2 or 3 children.
And how many of them have they buried under monasteries and those places that nobody knows anything about?
Mm-hmm. It's interesting to me. I was like, wow, that's where we are. That's where we are as a community too. So
yeah.
And some of my Catholic folks, they won't speak about it.
Oh, of course not, because I mean, how can you, in good faith, go and submit your spiritual life and health to somebody who may be doing this kind of thing, or even who has? Mm-hmm. And from the top down, there's no consequence for it. The slap on the hand is to move them to someplace else, and quietly, and they just go on doing what they do.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was Baptist and full gospel, and I've never been able to see my way to being a Catholic, because I have issues with a whole bunch of things that they do.
Mm.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Jan. Thank you, dear. I appreciate you.
All righty. All right. I'll keep listening.
All right, my dear. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. What you say, cousin?
Hey, cuz. How you making out?
Good. What's happening with you?
I'm all right. I'm going to make it quick and short. We have an injustice system. I'd rather let a guilty person go than execute an innocent person. And we know better than the person who go kill people as a society. We go kill them back again.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
Well, think about that. They give you the needle, and it don't kill you. They gonna re-kill you.
Yeah. See, it's a point when civilized people is supposed to be civilized. I don't condone breaking the law, committing any type of violence against another person.
Uh-huh.
I'm simply saying, from a society standpoint, we should be more humane than what we are. And vengeance is best left to God. And I know some people who was accused falsely, and I know people talk about this, and we missing it. The clans that don't have sheets on their head, they got black robes. And the injustice is constantly going on. We as a people, we're not rising up to protect us. We are too independent of each other than being dependent on each other, so that we could have more accomplishments. And I encourage more people to become part of the judicial system, from law enforcement, district attorneys, and judges. And that way I think we get some better, fair trials, But there are extenuating circumstances that, and we did an experiment at church. When you traumatize, you cannot identify the person who did the crime.
When you're traumatized, you cannot identify the person that did the crime?
Right. When they put you in a lineup, you look like, but you're not the person. And I had somebody close to my family was charged with armed robbery. And the thing that saved him, the guy was held up. He and his wife said the guy was taller than my family member was.
Yeah, and how did he get in that position of a lineup?
Oh, he was picked up because he had Jerry curls. Dreadlocks. He had dreadlocks.
So anybody that had dreadlocks matched the description.
That's right. That's right. He was held.
That's almost like the old saying that you hear over the radio when they're trying to look or try to locate a suspect. He had on a white T-shirt, blue jeans, and white tennis shoes. How many of us could that be?
Countless numbers. And then, like I'm saying, if a person throw a gun in your face, that barrel of the gun is big as a 55-gallon drum. I can tell you that because people have said that who has been victimized.
Mm-hmm.
It says you pay more attention to that gun than you do to the person that's holding it.
Mm-hmm.
If you think I'm lying, let somebody set you up that you don't know and put a gun in your face and see how big that barrel is.
Mm.
I'm just telling you about from experience that I've been dealt with because you've not been in the public for a long time.
Mm-hmm. You're still in the public for a long time.
And have transported witnesses many times. And they have said to me, I wasn't sure, but the police officer said, encouraged. Let me tell you what they did one time. They're supposed to show you a bunch of pictures. I don't know what the number is. It could be 10 pictures or whatever it is. He laid the pictures out, and he put his finger on the picture. Is this him? And the person said, yeah, that looked just like him. Picked him out the lineup. But it wasn't the person. The person was at work who they picked out.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's what saved him. He was at work. That's right. But he still went through the process, though.
I'm trying to get a conviction.
Yeah. All right, cuz. You take care and happy Mardi Gras to you.
Same to you, my friend. Appreciate you, cousin.
All right.
I'll talk to you later. All right, folks, we got to take a break. We'll take the break here and we'll come back. Lines wide open, 504-582-9422. You for the death penalty? You not for the death penalty? Or should I go a little bit further? Which I will go a little bit further in this. Are you for the death penalty one? And then are you for the death penalty or the new death penalty with them using gas, nitrogen gas? And then we'll also call out all these names on the death penalty, on the death row inmates, You'll find out who they are in just a bit, y'all. More coming up next.
Hello, I'm Sharon Levine, founder and director of Rise St. James. I want to invite you to our 6th annual Black History Ceremony on Saturday, February 22nd at Rosie's Catering in St. James, Louisiana.
Saturday, February 22nd, a day of unity and legacy with the theme of Mzizi Yakina, celebrating deep roots and enduring brilliance. Keynote speaker Heather McTier-Tony, singing, education, and delicious soul food. Visit risestjames.org for details.
We hope you can join us at Rosie's Catering in St. James, Louisiana.
Saints of God, it's time for us to tell you the truth. It's time for you to start your 21-day challenge. Don't take another day. Do it right now. Call 504-701-4711. That's the Whole Water Stove, Pastor David Impartan Sr., the host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. This is the water that's designed to change your body, the way you think, the way you act, and the way you look. Why don't you start your 21-day challenge today? For $35, you can start it right now. Call me so we can set up your appointment. 504-701-4711. That's 504-701-4711. Change your water, change your mind.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 1230 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. George Stevens with you. Let me get this other news, too, because I had this to talk about first, but I got caught up in this death row stuff. But I am taking your telephone calls, 504-582-9422. Are you available to talk to me about this death row stuff? I know some people got religious opinions. I know people got their other opinions. But I want to know from you, your opinion. Death row, you for it or not? That's number one. And then the other part of it, are you for it or not if they're using the gas? This news, I did have to tell you that it is printed out and official. Arthur Hunter, 23-year-old veteran of New Orleans criminal court bench, has stated that he is going to run for New Orleans mayor. Arthur Hunter, who channeled a short career as the New Orleans police officer into more than 2 decades on Orleans Parish criminal court judge and later ran for district attorney, was set to file documents for the State Ethics Board Thursday, declaring his intent to seek the city's top office. In a statement, Hunter said that he had spoken with more than 300 people and civic groups in making his decision to run for mayor in this fall's municipal election. And I got to tell you, I think he has too, spoken to that many. He came to me. I was coming out of Whole Foods, and he was coming out at the same time. I think I spent more time in the parking lot talking to Judge Hunter than I did shopping at Whole Foods. So congratulations, Judge Hunter, saying he going to be in that race for mayor. All right. Uptown B.
Hey, G-Man.
What's going on with you?
Not much. Man, to answer your question, I don't agree with it. Death penalty, except for like in cases of, extremely heinous crimes. And, but I don't think. I don't know what data shows that it benefits or it deters any crime any way in any other places. But as far as the gas, I do not at all agree with that. Also, it's starting to make sense and take shape as to what happened with that law last year. I remember your show about the medical castration, and not to take the topic away from
right. I know what you're talking about.
Death
Go ahead.
penalty. Yes, I remember that show, and I remember you all having callers as you had today. And I remember back then there was a trial balloon. I felt like that was a trial balloon for something greater. And I believe this is it. So that last show, when people called in, everybody was agreeing with it. They were like, yeah, definitely. Castration, medical, surgical castration, absolutely. And I was like, wait, hold on. We got to understand that these things disproportionately affect us. And we can't be quick to jump on this red meat that's thrown out there. And that trial balloon, I believe, led the way for legislation like this.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know. So I think that, the best thing for me to say is when I don't know, I don't know. But I do know one thing. I feel that when they do introduce these different issues and say, okay, we're going to do this, and we don't say anything about it and there's no real big pushback, we open the door to say, okay, let's go ahead and do it. Ain't nobody stopping us. Nobody's stopping anything. So there's no big ministerial alliance that has come forward and said we're going to get all the pastors in the state to come march on your daggone doorstep. That there has been no conversations about this, and some of the folks I would say that need to be talking about it in the church. They're not talking about it. And the majority of, and I'm talking about the black church more so than anybody else, because the number of folks that are on death row, honestly, to tell you the truth, it's us. It is us.
I think that the fight in to the defense of the church, especially the black church, the fight is so great. It's just so many different fronts. There are great organizations that don't really get the recognition that they should, especially these young these new lawyers. I forget what they call them, organizations that go out and do the work.
Yep.
I think they should get some recognition, but I think that this archaic law stems from that other law from last year, which, mind you, was something that's not practiced nowhere else in the world except for like 3 countries. I want to say like Madagascar, Nigeria, and some other place. That's just how barbaric and backwards that form of punishment is.
Mm-hmm.
So when they open that door, we have to understand that when you do that, that fair weather balloon said, "Hey, it's okay. The people are okay with it. They're good. What's next? Let's roll it out. Gas chamber, let's go."
Right.
And now we're here. And now we're like, wait, hold on, what's going on? And now with everything else happening right nationally, as far as, things rolling out quickly and fast, this is the agenda to have things come at us at lightning speed. And, I mean, we're fighting at all fronts.
Right. Yeah. All fronts, everybody on board. But when I read something, I want to put something in perspective when I do this. When I tell y'all the names of these folks that are on death row, I'm also going to put what parish they're coming from. Which parish has more death row folks than any other parish? And it made me go, what in the world is going on in this parish? Or what in the world? You would think of Orleans would be like number 1. We not.
Right.
We are not. You might think that Baton Rouge might be number 1. They're not. And Shreveport, they not. I'm like, wait a minute. We got a lot of black folks in these little small parishes that are on death row, and I want to know why. So
I would be interested in seeing that study, Gerard.
Oh, I'm getting ready to bring it up too.
And with a state with life expectancies that slides back, that's ranked 49th above West Virginia and Mississippi, according to the CDC.
Yep.
Our life expectancies at 73, 70 maybe, but I mean, when it parses down to male and black male, it goes even further. But I mean, it's going back since 2020, 2019, 2020 it's been sliding back, So for a state that's sliding back, I mean, it's almost like,
Well, life expectancy
why are you even focusing on death penalty? Your people aren't even living as long as the rest of the country.
Right.
But anyway,
right.
Thank you, Gerard.
I appreciate you. Thank you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let me give you this info so that everybody be like, what? Are you kidding me? Which parish do you think has the most folks that come from, that they come from that parish that are on death row? Which parish? I already told you it ain't Orleans Parish. Ain't Jefferson Parish. The majority of the folks that are on death row came from Caddo Parish. Caddo Parish. All right, here it is. Caddo Parish Criminal Court Judge Leon Emanuel formally sentenced 20-year-old LaDerrick Campbell to death. Said Campbell killed 51-year-old Kathy Parker in September of 2002. That was during a robbery at the Magnolia Club in Rodessa. Parker's family says they feared the judge would overturn the sentence, but very happy that he did not. Parker's daughter, Christy Holmes, says, well, he's never shown 1 ounce of remorse, and I think he's got to be some type of evil. I don't know. Parker's brother, Phil Harris, comments, it was hard, really hard to go through it. And like I say, it's a lot of relief to a certain degree, so I think it was justified. Campbell's attorney, Kurt Goen, says they plan to appeal Judge Emanuel's decision. That's one. That's LaDerrick Campbell in Caddo Parish. Number 2, Nathaniel Cole. Nathaniel Cole. In this news article, it says a man who lost 3 family members in a quadruple murder about 34 years ago spoke to state officials about the death penalty Tuesday morning. A legislative panel met to investigate why Louisiana allegedly has delayed justice for members of Nathaniel Cole Jr.'s victims and relatives of these victims who killers still sit on death row. Attorney General Jeff Landry at the time says 3 members of victims' families, Louisiana Justice Department experts, and others testified before the Administration of Criminal Justice Committee and the Louisiana House Representatives at the Louisiana State Capitol in Baton Rouge. Kill him. They wanted to put him to death. It said in 1990, Nathaniel Cole was convicted of 4 counts of first-degree murder in Shreveport. That was by a jury of 12. Caddo Parish. Caddo, that's Shreveport? That's Shreveport, yeah. Number 3, out of Caddo Parish, Michael Cooks, convicted of a 1995 murder during an armed robbery in Shreveport. Yep. The medical examiner testified Joe Frazier had been shot 14 times, not the Joe Frazier, the boxer, but another Joe Frazier had been shot 14 times. Michael Cooks. Here's another one. Percy Davis, convicted in 1990 murders of 2 workers of convenience stores 2 nights in a row. The first victim killed was Mark Sanchez, an employee of a Circle K store, and the second victim was Calvin Moore, the owner of an Exxon outlet at Fats Exxon. Curtis Deal, convicted in 1996, the death of 2-month-old Joshua, his 2-month-old son Joshua, in Caddo Parish. First responders said the child had a wadded up paper towel forced in his throat. And Deal admitted of throwing the baby back in the bed when he wouldn't stop crying. Killed him. Curtis Deal. Gave him death penalty. Now, some of these crimes that you're going to hear about these people, it might change some of these folks' minds about, well, I don't believe in the death penalty. But when you hear some of this, like you just heard that this man forced a paper towel down the throat of a 2-month-old and then threw him back in the bed, might make you change your mind. Felton Dorsey, convicted for the 2006 first-degree murder of a retired firefighter, Joe Prop, during a home invasion at his mother's house in Greenwood. Daryl Drawn, convicted in 2000 murder of the neighbor, 64-year-old Loretta White. She had been stabbed or cut 61 times in her Shreveport home. 34 of the wounds were on the head and face. Cedric Edwards, convicted in 1995 of the murder of Victoria Cantonese Kennedy in Shreveport. During a home invasion, her husband and 14-year-old daughter survived the attack. The husband said he recognized the man because he had come into his store. Bobby Hampton, convicted in 1995, killing of Philip Russell Coleman, an employee at a Shreveport liquor store that was robbed as employees were closing up for the night. Daniel Irish, convicted in 1996 murder of his landlord, Russ Rowland, after asking him to come into the Caddo Parish mobile home to collect overdue rent. Marcus Reed, convicted for the deaths of Jarkus Jeremiah and Eugene Adams on August 17, 2010, allegedly over a stolen Xbox game console. Lamondra Tucker, convicted in 2008 for the death of his pregnant ex-girlfriend, 18-year-old Tavia Seals in Shreveport. Tucker's mom, Alicia Tucker, was arrested right after the sentence and charged with conspiracy to tamper with the jury. James Tyler, convicted of the 1995 murder of a manager for a fast food restaurant during an armed robbery. 2 other employees were shot in the head, but they survived and were able to identify him. Those are the folks that are on death row from Shreveport. So I said, no, it wasn't Shreveport, but Caddo Parish, that is Shreveport. So there are more folks on death row from Shreveport than any other parish. In Bossier City, Jeremiah Manning, convicted of the 2000 kidnapping and murder of Mary Malone from her planned dealing home. And James Dunn out of Assumption Parish, convicted in the June 1998 killings of 2 bank employees, Lisa Dupas and Jacqueline Blanchard, in Napoleonville during an armed robbery with accomplices. Calcasieu, out of Calcasieu Parish, Kevin Daigle, convicted after killing the state trooper Stephen Vincent in 2015. Vincent responded to a stranded motorist on the on the side of a rural road in 2015 as he tried to help an intoxicated Daigle. Daigle pulled out a sawed-off shotgun and just gravely wounded Vincent, who died at the hospital. Daigle was also charged with the second-degree murder of his roommate, Blake Brewer, who was found dead in his Moss Bluff home after Daigle's arrest. Jason Reeves, convicted of killing 4-year-old Mary Jean Thigpen in 2001. Investigators say he raped her, stabbed her 16 times, and then left her for dead in the woods. DeSoto Parish, Christopher Sepulvedo. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to make it sure I got it right. Christopher Sepulvedo, convicted in 1992, the beating and scalding of a 6-year-old, his 6-year-old stepson, Wesley Ann Mercer. Michael Taylor, convicted of the 1999 murder of Chester Howell, a salesman at the DeSoto Parish Pontiac dealership, who took it for a test drive, and he test drive this white Pontiac Firebird, and the car was found the next day after Taylor and his accomplice used it in a bank robbery in Iowa, which resulted in a non-fatal shooting of a police officer. The pair was arrested at the Mexico border with more than $100,000 in cash. East Baton Rouge, another area. Anthony Bell, convicted of 5 counts of first-degree murder in the 2006 shooting in the Ministry of Jesus Christ Church. Also convicted on the one count of attempted first-degree murder of the shooting of Pastor Claudia Brown. The victims were identified as 78-year-old Leonard Howard, 72-year-old Gloria Howard, 67-year-old Dolores McGrew, 47-year-old Darlene Selvage, Bell's wife, and 24-year-old Erica Bell. David Bowie, convicted in the 1996 murder of John Smith. Bowie wrapped shoelaces and then the cord from an iron around the victim's neck to kill him after losing in a dice game. Wow. Quincy Broughton, convicted in the 1996 murder of Edward Black and Alan Rutledge in the Scotlandville area. Black was reportedly killed because he owed Broughton money for drugs. Henry Broadway, convicted for the 1993 murder of Baton Rouge police officer Corporal Betty Smothers and injuring another woman, Kimberlyn Lee, during an attempted armed robbery. Frank Ford Cozy, convicted of a 1990 rape and murder of a 12-year-old Delkie Nelson in East Baton Rouge. Her mother found her when she was when she came home after work. She was naked with a throat slash on the floor of the master bedroom. Decarius Holiday, convicted of beating his then girlfriend, his girlfriend's 2-year-old son, that is, Darian Kuhn, and they beat him to death on May 14, 2007 in Baton Rouge. Robert Miller, convicted of the 1997 murder, rape, and armed robbery of his 67-year-old landlord at her East Baton Rouge home. Miller said that he went there at 2 a.m. to pay his overdue rent, but after arriving, he began to feel sick and lost consciousness. When he woke up, he says the victim was bloody and appeared dead. Alan Robertson, convicted in 1991 in the murders of the elderly Baton Rouge couple Morris and Kazuko Presentinback, who lived near his mother. He was reportedly looking for items to steal to fuel his cocaine addiction. Antoine Tate, convicted of a 1997 murder of Choner Jackson, Joseph Billy, and Sylvester Rowe in Baton Rouge. Tate and his accomplices, that is, reportedly shot the victims after plotting to steal drugs from them. And Todd Wessinger, convicted in the 1995 murders of two of his co-workers, Stephanie Gazzardo and David Breckwell, at Calendar's Restaurant in Baton Rouge. So that's East Baton Rouge. Now, did you notice how many folks that we talked about? Remember this. One of the things that came up with some new legislation was, oh yeah, by the way, we want to put and publish and put it on the internet. All these folks that are doing heinous crimes in East Baton Rouge, Shreveport, and Orleans Parish. I wonder if it got anything to do with it. Because we got these folks that are on death row from Caddo Parish, East Baton Rouge Parish, and we getting to read some of this, and these folks in Orleans Parish. Orleans Parish don't have that many on death row. We'll tell you in a minute, y'all. Everybody hold tight. We got to take a break here.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the Love Zone on WBOK 12:30 a.m. and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, We're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
I'm Wendell Pierce. Thanks for making WBOK your station. WBOK, 1230 a.m.
The Reality Check on WBOK, 1230 a.m.
All right, folks, here we are. Let me go to Orleans Parish, because I do want y'all to know we do have some people from Orleans Parish on death row. You would be surprised, though, because you would think that, the way that folks have been treated here in the judicial system, that we probably had more than anybody else, right? Nah. Orleans Parish has 3 people from Orleans Parish on death row. Clarence Harris, convicted of first-degree murder for the 1993 killing of Katie Carlin. They said he tried to abduct her while she was walking with her 11-year-old daughter in New Orleans. Carlin tried running away, but she got shot. Harris then took her daughter back to his apartment, raped her, and then even brought her back to her neighborhood where she ran home. Antoinette Frank, which was very high profiled here, former New Orleans police officer, convicted of killing her partner Ronald Williams in Havu and Kongvu at the New Orleans East restaurant, and Kim On Noodles. Y'all remember that one. Clifford DeRoos, convicted in the 1995 killings of a 20-year-old Gary Booker and 11-year-old Antien Nachansik in New Orleans. DeRoos shot Booker 8 times in the side and back after Booker and his accomplices said they had no money when DeRoos asked for $1. 2 days later, DeRoos shot and killed Antien, an infant, in a failed carjacking. He opened fire on the car and his mother drove away, hitting her 4 times as well. Now, a lot of folks are waiting for me to read the other police officer.
He will not be on that list.
He is not on this list anymore.
He has recently been removed from the kill list.
Removed from the kill list. You are right. But he's not on this list anymore. From Rapides Parish, Larry Roy, convicted of a 1993 stabbing death of his ex-girlfriend, ex-husband, Freddie Richard Jr., and her elderly aunt, Rosetta Silas, in Cheneyville. St. Martin Parish, Scott Bork, on April 5th, 1990, Scott Jude Bork, it said, murdered his estranged girlfriend, Charlotte Perry, and severely wounded her mother. In St. James Parish, Glenn Juniors, convicted in the 1997 killing of Albert Bush Robinson during a robbery at a boating business and convent. St. John Parish, Kyle Jokel, convicted in the 2012 murders of St. John Parish deputies Jeremy Trich and Brandon Nelson at a mobile home park in LaPlace. Y'all remember that? They had a great big old shootout right there off of Airline Highway. And Natchez, Tracy Lee, a Fort Polk soldier who broke into a home on June 15, 1985, and shot and killed Ron Blackston, 15. Lee then sexually assaulted Blackston's mother and sister. Leroy Odenbaugh, convicted of the 2006 murder of his wife, Sandra Porter, and his wife's mother, Jessie May. And he was also convicted in the attempted first-degree murder of his stepdaughter following an argument about work that he was supposed to have completed in their Bastrap trailer. In Livingston Parish, James Copeland, convicted of raping and killing 11-year-old Joseph Cook Owen. His body was found in a field in Livingston Parish, that's near East Baton Rouge Parish border, in 1979. Jefferson Parish, Emmett Taylor, convicted of the 1997 murder, that is, of 77-year-old Marie Toscano during a robbery at Rose Pharmacy in Marrero, where Toscano worked. Manuel Ortiz, convicted in the 1992 murders of his wife, Tracy Williams Ortiz, and her friend Cheryl Mallory in Kenner. Ortiz was out of the country, but it was discovered he paid someone to fatally stab his wife for a $900,000 insurance payout. An FBI informant who had been speaking with Ortiz testified against him. Jarrell Neal, convicted in the 1998 murders of Fergus Robinson and Greg Vickers. Neal and his two relatives went to the Metairie home to collect an overdue drug debt from a former resident of the house. They killed Robinson and Vickers after shooting through a closed door. They also shot at responding officers before eventually being caught. And Julius Lucky, convicted of the 1994 murder of his co-worker, Letitia Faggett, at the Gourmet Grill and Daiquiri Shop in Metairie as they were closing for the night. Another employee, a waitress, survived the shooting and was able to testify against Lucky and his accomplices, who were the other co-workers. Wow. Then there's East Feliciana. Gregory Brown, convicted of killing a couple of Clinton in October of 1998. William and Ann Gay, both were shot at close range, and their bodies were found in a burning vehicle. Good Lord, Gerard. We just about gave them all to you. We got a couple of more parishes, but we'll get to them in a minute. Now, with that being said, 504-582-9422. As you were hearing these horrific stories about what these people did and were convicted of it, you still not against the death penalty? Or did this change your mind that, nah, I'm for the death penalty and the use of gas? Where you at? 504-582-9422. More coming up, y'all.
Have you heard the secret of what New Orleans is talking about? I promise everything will be okay if you're listening here on the airwaves. It's that WBOK 12:30 a.m.
WBOK 12:30 a.m. New Orleans, home of the Reality Check, weekdays 1 to 4 p.m.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams is working to uncover records of enslaved New Yorkers to better understand the city's history. Volunteers are needed to help transcribe documents dating back to 1660, shedding light on their impact. Attorney General Pam Bondi is ordering the Department of Justice to drop DEI lawsuits against police and fire departments, calling them unfair. The Biden administration filed these suits over alleged hiring discrimination. African-American New Jersey Senator Cory Booker is reintroducing the Crown Act to ban hair discrimination nationwide. The bill protects hairstyles linked to racial identity like braids, locks, and curls. Booker says no one should face bias for embracing their natural hair. And Brownsville, Tennessee is fundraising for a Tina Turner statue in Heritage Park. Mayor Bill Rawls commissioned the 7-foot tribute with a $150,000 goal. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
February is Black History Month, a time to honor the leaders and change makers who paved the way. At New Schools for New Orleans, we're celebrating the next generation of trailblazers, our students. Louisiana recently made historic gains on the nation's report card, climbing from the 49th to 32nd in just 5 years, our highest ranking ever. With progress in both ELA and math, we're proving what's possible. Tune in for Talk That on 12:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. as we uplift Black excellence, past, present, and future.
Here we go. The Reality Check on WBOK 12:30 a.m.
All right, folks, welcome back. I'm trying to put this in I guess more so than anything else, put this in a decent way to have this conversation about the state going back to its death row signatures and saying, oh, yeah, and by the way, we bringing gas to the company. We're not just going to do no lethal injection and let you just dip off. We getting ready to do something else. We're going to do gas. What's been stated about this gas is that it is not humane, and it violates people's rights to be able to say, you know, you're going to put me to death, give me the cocktail that you're going to put in my veins that'll stop my heart from beating. But you're doing something now. You're going to bring this methane gas to the table, which replaces, if you ever been around certain types of gas, you know, people cannot survive around methane gas, breathing it straight in, because it replaces itself with oxygen. So it takes your oxygen away. And they're saying that this is not humane. So the attorneys in this first case, which is supposed to be March the 18th, y'all got to remember something. March 18th is right around the corner. While we're sitting up here having conversations about, did you get your throws? What parade you going to? Throw me something, mister. And girl, did you see them out there popping in the street? They're having conversations about, we about to put you to death with nitrogen gas. I said methane, but it's nitrogen gas. And there's now a lawsuit to stop it. But the judge has not, as of yet, said, oh, yeah, we're going to halt it. They ain't say that. Do y'all know that tomorrow is the last day of February? Tomorrow. We are in March, as of Saturday. And they talking about executing this man on the 18th. We have not done any executions in the state of Louisiana in 15 years. But it appears, now this is where I need your help. It appears that we are getting in a situation where the powers that be are like, yeah, let's do it. Let's kill him. Let's follow Alabama and get this cocktail together and go head on and do it. Because Alabama done killed 4 people already. Then executed them using gas. Nitrogen gas. They didn't use it. And they said from the study of what they see that it does not, it is inhumane. But do you really even care? After you have heard, now here it is. This is the one. After you have heard me read off these folks' names, when they got convicted, how long they've been in jail, and what they supposedly did, how you feel about the how you feeling about the death penalty now? Eye for an eye? Or you want to show grace and mercy? Now just picture. This is why I'm going to get in trouble. Just picture. If one of these folks that y'all heard me read off that got killed is one of your relatives. Ooh, that sounds terrible. Don.
Hey, Gerard. Good afternoon.
What's going on, big timer? How you doing?
I'm still of the opinion that as egregious as a lot of these murders are, that I think life in prison should still be the only thing that these people need to live through, what they've done and all, and again, let God take care of them afterwards. So I'm still, of course, I didn't agree with the gas thing anyway, but I'm still of the opinion that let God take care of the people after they're gone. But one of the things I wanted to, I think, have clarification with is the March 18th thing. Was that the guy Sepulveda?
Wait a minute. Say what now?
The guy that was supposed to be executed with the gas on the 18th, was that the guy Sepulveda? Because I heard on the news that the guy died.
No. This is another guy. He was the first to supposedly go, but this guy is the name of Jesse Hoffman.
He's
so
now someone else.
Scheduled to be executed on March the 18th.
18th, okay.
But there's a lawsuit.
Yeah, because I know they said the first guy was supposed to be executed.
Yeah, he died already.
Day.
Yeah, he
yeah,
died.
Right, he had died, and they were saying that they think he died because of the stress of waiting, for the execution and all. But again, it's just something that our government is leaning towards. As you mentioned earlier, I think this is just the beginning. Figuring that with the gas thing, and then who knows, firing squad.
Right. I'm telling you, that's what's coming next.
Head off.
That's what's coming next, the firing squad.
Yeah, we've got to the point now where, instead of being the people that are civilized, we're back with the ones that are uncivilized.
Nope.
So it's just something that, I think over the next few weeks and months that people need to hold on to their chairs, because I
just don't understand, Don, how this state or any other state that's using this this method of execution could ever think that using gas is civilized after we sit here and we talk about, oh, remember the Holocaust? Remember what they did in the Holocaust?
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. It's you all that's supposed to be civilized.
Right, right. And it just galls me that we live in a time now where they've gotten to a point where they feel that one man can straighten things out for the whole, not only this country, but he appears to be thinking that he can take care of the world.
Right.
And we're just, and the people that are backing him, except for a few people that have come up against this guy, I'm at a point now where I just wonder if all these people have blinders on and just say, well, whatever he wants, we'll let him do, and then hopefully he'll take care of us in the end. It's just that they don't care anything about the common people as long as, the guy gets his way and he feels that what he's doing is right. And a lot of people aren't, having pushback about it. So, as I said, over the next few weeks and months, we're going to really see a lot of things going on that people are going to be shaking their heads about. And, like a lot of Hispanics right now are looking at his situation and saying, man, I didn't know we were getting ourselves into this, because he promised that
I
he
was
was
watching
gonna,
the news the other day.
be
I
on
had to
our
sit back
side.
and laugh, though, Don, because even though it wasn't funny, but I had to laugh because this lady stood up at the town hall meeting. I think she was having it with one of her representatives, and she was like, look, this stuff that's happening in Washington, D.C., all these layoffs and all this stuff is really affecting my family. I'm not black. That's not supposed to be happening to us. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, my God.
right. Yeah, I mean, that and that's the thing that a lot of people are thinking, that a lot of the effects are going to have more effect on black people. But, when Medicaid and all these different programs are affected, most of the folks that are on those programs are white people.
The majority of them are. The majority of them are.
It's going to affect us. Yeah.
So I don't know what's to come, but I do say this. We've been through hell and high water as a people.
Right.
Are we going to be able to survive this? I would say yes.
Yeah, we've been traumatized, since we came to this country. And, like you said, we've been able to make it through, with the help of God. And I think we need to realize that we're a strong people, and that whatever comes, we can stand it as long as we have God on our side. We're okay.
Yeah,
I'm just
still trying to get over the cost of eggs. So yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Gerard. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right,
Have a
Don.
blessed
Appreciate
one.
you, boss. Yes, indeed. They say eggs and it went up to $8. Did it go up? $8 a dozen? And I got to tell you, I'm feeling like here we go again. What you talking about, Gerard? With a T? I'm talking about I'm feeling like here we go again when it comes down to these pandemics. Are you gonna take the what you call it, to kill the virus, or no? Now they got the kids down in Houston that are dying because their parents are like, no, we're not going to take no shots for my children with the measles. You trying to tell me you could take this remedy for the measles? They got it to you in an injection. You just take the injection and it would cure your kids, but you would rather for them to die instead of taking this remedy for the measles? Because y'all listening to Trump, listening to JFK. What's wrong with us? You would rather put your child in the hospital And I wonder how many of the nurses, how many of the doctors say, all you have to do is take this formula right here and let us go on and jab them in the arm and watch it work. And they get right back well again. And you say no? Hello? We letting the measles kill us? And then they asked him in the cabinet meeting, we have a whole bunch of, I was like, what did he say? We always have a whole bunch of kids that have the measles, and it happens every year. Didn't they just say that this was the first one to die in years? Yesterday? Okay. You had one to die. I'm watching it. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, what is wrong with your throat? Or should we go back to the old Trumpster? Can we inject ourselves with bleach? Can we put some light up your wazoo? Can we put some infrared light or some black light up your wazoo and see if that'll kill it? No, that just brings another meaning of being able to say that you are glowing in the dark. For real though. Yo, we really are in trouble. Hello, is anybody at the CDC? Can y'all open the door? Can I come in to see what y'all doing? RFK, what's going on with the kids? I got somebody monitoring it. What? I got somebody monitoring it. What? So what has happened here is basically that, we need to realize, like, No, sir. No, sir. Give me the shot. Hold still, little Johnny. Hold still, little Becky. I don't care what your mama say. We gonna inject you. We ain't going back to this. And did you hear the man what he said? Hey, but it's like what? Somebody need to inject you with something. Okay, I'm like, not for me, y'all. My respect is gone altogether. Shoot the kids. Hit him up in the arm with the needle. And every time he open up his mouth, just inject another 10. The vaccines. That's all I heard. Vaccines. What? We'll take a break here. We'll come back. More in a minute, y'all.
Hi, I'm Leo Jackson, host of Sunday Gospel here every Sunday morning, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 o'clock till 2 p.m. You don't want to miss this move of God. It happens only on WBOK. You listen to all day long.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. I guess I am going to be, man, that you should see Jazz, the text messages that are coming through. Folks asking me questions about. Well, let me say this first. I'm gonna be messy for a minute. Who is this dude, Digger Dots? Idiocy Digger Dots or whatever he is that be online with us. I noticed that none of the folks that are usually online, I'm a dog him right now. I'm a dog him. I sure am. And, I don't usually do that. I don't do that to nobody. But I saw him. He wrote a message.
Yeah, he's always doing that, and I blocked him for a moment. And, I don't block people, but some of his messages had gotten to a point where they were
just straight up ignorant.
Yeah. Like, we don't have problem with.
I think that everybody that's online with us, and I mean to do this. I mean to say this today. I think everybody online with us usually has very good conversation. We can agree to disagree. Some people are very passionate about it, but this dude is just right damn ignorant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something
wrong with him.
There's some ulterior motives to everything that he does, it seems. Like
and usually gets on here and has conversation about nothing that we're even talking about.
Yeah.
This fool got on my page and said, "Yeah, I went on and said if you go back to my other whatever that is and other posts." Said that you wouldn't be here past January of 2025 anyway. So now I could go on the other show and basically have a conversation about it. I don't give a damn what he say. But I wanted to address this today. And I was really thinking about it because first thing, I never address him. And I don't know if you noticed that. I never.
Yeah, no, I never. I noticed you never addressed him. I used to let him go, and like I said, I blocked him, and then I gave him a warning, like I'm gonna unblock you. Just calm down, and obviously he hasn't calmed down.
But I don't know what's wrong with him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, what you want to be? You want to be my friend or something like that? No, you ain't no friend. You ignorant.
Yeah,
and I ain't got time for ignorance. But for him to write that to me. Like I know you. Yeah, like I don't know who you are. I'll put it that way. I do know who you are. But I just wanted to let you know you a stupid ass. Stupid. Ain't no way to. And look, I don't get on here telling nobody they stupid. This dude is stupid. You ain't even retarded. You just plain stupid. And I don't like you. And you ain't never heard me say nothing about that like nobody. I don't like nobody. This one, I don't like. And I want you to block him.
Yeah, I already did. I unblocked him, but I'm about to block him again.
Stupid.
I'm about to block him. Because I am very much so not a fan of blocking people.
As much conversation as we have on here about stuff that is relative to what's happening in our community.
Everybody
has
deserves
an
their own
opinion,
voice.
and all you can do is stalk the it ain't just me.
No,
it's all the announcers.
It's everyone.
And I'm
It's
like, this
everyone.
dude is stupid.
It's everyone.
And for you to write me a message yesterday, see, I was going to tell you anyway that you wouldn't make it to 2025 anyway as a talk show host. Boy, kiss my butt.
But here's the thing. He's been doing this and he's been having that
But the best
viewpoint.
thing though,
But he listens to us all
Every
day
day.
long.
That's why I tell you dumb.
All
Ignorant.
day long. So
Crazy as
obviously
hell.
we're doing a good
I got a
enough
whole
job
bunch
for you
more
to
that
listen.
I could have called him, but I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go do that right now.
Go back and just that like I don't even want him on the Facebook page. And anybody else has the audacity to do what he do, dude, get a life. Go listen to somebody else. Go listen to Newell or somebody. We don't need you. Just because you might look like us, don't mean you are one of us. Dumbass. Okay, I'm finished cussing for the day. And you know they're going to call me in the office when I get off. Gerard, could you please stop talking about the listeners?
Well,
He ain't no listener.
I tell you one thing. They're gone, so they
gone?
didn't hear that little.
Oh, they didn't hear- they
hear
they
that
left?
one right there. Yeah.
I ain't even see him walk out. They left out?
Everybody with him.
I can keep going?
Yeah.
Not only are you a dumbass, y'all know at some point in time, look, how many years this been going? This been going on for years, though. And I have never even addressed them. Never addressed them. But I'm going to address them today because things are changing around here. They are changing around. So I am going to address it and let everybody know that, this is what it is. Y'all know that Jazz came over here on this side probably, last week and have some conversation. And Troy Henry listener, he said, I heard it. Damn.
My bad, boss.
That was Jazz. That was not me. So, but anyway, some changes are going to happen. And those changes, which I have not said anything about, but I'm going to address it because, we're at the end of the month anyway. Because I do have another position as far as the job is concerned, it's been a stress for me to try to get here at 1 o'clock, leaving my other duties. And that's why, some folks been like, man, where you at? Where you at? And I understand that, when we say we're going to be doing a show at a certain time, y'all expecting it. And it hasn't been that way for at least half the year. And I can't continuously do it that way. So I had a conversation with Troy Henry probably about 2 weeks ago. And he said, man, we want to make some changes, to make this suitable for you. So do you want to come on during drive time instead of being on at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? So that time for me to be on will start in March at 4 o'clock. That'll give a lot of folks headed home and drive time for them to be able to look at me and be able to say, oh, we want to hear what's going on, at 4 o'clock. I don't know how it's going to work. I really don't. I don't know how you're going to accept it or not. And then instead of having Tavis Smiley on in the evening time, they just moved him up into my slot. Okay? So it's a shuffling more so than anything else. Instead of y'all ringing up the phone and having the conversation. Now, on the bad part of this, I am losing my producer. And I publicly need to tell him, bro, I'm going to miss you. I told him, I didn't make that decision. One of the decisions that has been made, and I'm going to tell you why, it is the fact that how much information we share with you, how much stuff that we talk about, what we bring to the table, you would think with the number of, and I don't want to just say small businesses, but the number of businesses that are in this city, you all would be flocking. I'm talking to the business owners, that you all would be flocking to this city, to this door, to say, I want to advertise here. Now, we do have sales representatives. You need to talk to them, but we would think that any business that's a startup business, small business, because look, I don't know if you've ever gone and checked with the businesses I'm sorry, with the radio stations that are these big monstrosities that you can hear, the powerhouse. I don't know if you really checked them out, but advertising with them is high as giraffe ass. It is. And you can't afford it. Then you're wondering why. Why is my business closing? When honestly, they may have more listeners, but remember what the listeners are. They're passive. Passive listeners have to hear your commercial at least 10 to 15 times before it works for them. Can you withstand that cost when you have a station like us that ain't afraid to come and broadcast live from your business, have you as a guest on the shows, have you sponsoring programs, having you put yourself in a position? And we should have every church that's in this city that's running on Sundays. You all should have from 5 o'clock in the morning until how long, Wick? Because you got to put them in. Like what? They should be on from 5 o'clock in the morning all the way till what time you come on? 6, 7 o'clock in the evening time? Yeah, 7. They should have those church services of your pastor on this radio station. Because unless you're going to church, which a whole lot of you ain't going to church, I'm going to just be honest. You stop going to church. I go to church every Sunday. I'm to church every Sunday. It helped a whole lot. It got me the Holy Ghost enough to say this today. Nah. And I'm wondering, what's wrong with sitting down and saying, I need to have somebody to advertise for me. I need to have an advertisement. And churches, you would be surprised on how many people walk up to me. Jazz, you know it too, because they do you the same way. They walk up to me. They walk up to Jazz. They walk up to Graylin and say, ain't you that person? Man, I heard what y'all talked about. I heard what y'all talked about. I was listening. You heard today a lady call in to say, I don't call, but I wanted to call today. It's a lot of folks. And y'all hear that ding, 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 ding every day. That's the people that's listening that just happen to have a contact for me that's texting me. I'm listening, but I don't want to talk, G. I don't want nobody to recognize who I am. Y'all be surprised how many times you hear that. So let me make myself perfectly clear today. I was quiet for a reason. First of all, this ain't my business. So I pick and choose very cautiously any type of comment that actually is not my duty to do so. You understand? I am human, and there are going to be some decisions that are made that I'm not going to agree with. I tell Troy that. And I know he's listening right now. He's probably going to tell me, you can get your stuff and get out. But there's going to be some stuff that I ain't going to agree with. But this ain't my business, and it ain't my money. All right? But I am very concerned as a person that sits here and wonder and have to wonder where the business is. And then you're hearing this one folding, and this one ain't there no more. You go and try to get some food or something from them, they done shut the doors because you're not advertising. Well, I can't afford to be on FM 98 or Q93. That's what's wrong with you. You all think that that's a black radio station. Both of them. Because I play black music, don't necessarily make me black. Because I got a black guy that's sitting there and here's your favorite song does not make it black. Because you know the guys in there that are the announcers do not make it black. I don't know what else to tell you. Except some of us really need to check our priorities. Our business owners. And this is what I started to do. One of the most successful things that this radio station has ever done since I've been affiliated with it. And I'm not here panting or sitting here patting myself on the back or any of that. We came up with a program for small businesses. And it was very successful because everybody was telling us that they were getting results from being featured on Small Business Thursdays. Small Business Thursday would basically be we would go out to a business that would have us, and we would invite all small businesses. If you owned a small business, you were invited to come out during that time and be interviewed so that we could tell the public about your business, to get you some business. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say, man, that's a great thing, G, that's a great thing. It was a great thing, but we also brought our sales reps. We brought our sales reps to the location because, look, we don't know your small business if you ain't willing to tell us about it. You pop up because you know that you're getting ready to get something free. And I'm not downing you for that. Hell, I would do it too. But if you got that opportunity to tell us about your business, give out your location, or give out your telephone number on the air, I could almost guarantee you that your phone was going to ring before you got out the building. And 99% of the time, it did. And you were like, oh, my God, look at this. My phone's ringing. People want my services, because you don't understand advertising and marketing. That ain't your fault. It is your fault, but it ain't your fault. That ain't what you specialize in. That's what we specialize in. And then we wanted you to understand that, hey, if you have a business, you need to advertise. Now, we give you this one time to do your shoot on the air to tell everybody about what you got, what you want to put in the atmosphere so that folks can call you up and you can go and do the work or have the work done for you. But you can't come back and do it twice. We give you once. But we are going to introduce you to our sales reps, give you their cards, put together some programs, put together some packages so that you'll know this is what you need to spend to do business in this city. You want to make money, you got to spend money. Let me say that again for the people sitting by the door. You want to make some money? You got to spend some money. Ain't none of us over here trying to work for free. But I don't want to have to hear again in the next couple of months, we got to make some more changes, G. You all have been calling me, and you all have been asking the questions. I had not said one word. Miss Anita called me today and asked me, I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on. And I keep hearing this promo saying Tavis Smiley coming on your time. Yes, you did. That is not a secret. But I just chose my time to tell you. I was going to tell you tomorrow. But this stupid idiot wrote a very bad, I didn't erase it. I didn't erase it. I left it up there for that. Now that I have addressed it on the air, I'm going to address him too. Dingbat, dumbass. What else can we do? You ain't no Boaz. All your cousins is around. You know his cousins. Dumbass, po-ass, a couple other asses. So, all right, I'll leave that alone. I'm going to leave it alone because I'll keep digging. I'll keep digging. And it ain't worth it. I did what I needed to do. It ain't worth it. He just pissed me off. But it's always like my mama said, better to be pissed off than to be pissed on. I said, okay. T-Bone.
Hey, G. Good evening.
What's going on with you?
Do you need a virtual neat shot or double shot of some brown liquor right now, bro?
I need some brown liquor, man. You're a brown liquor man, boy.
You sound like you need that in your voice, man. You're bigger, but your spirit is really bothered, man. I'm just. Do you need a virtual double shot?
I'm good, bro. I'm good right now. I'm good. I just need to get that off my chest.
Yeah. Get your real shot when you get home. Okay? When you get home, not before you drive. You know what I'm saying?
Not while I'm driving.
Do it like that. Not while you're driving, bro. Because I want you to still be around, baby. Because look, real talk.
Yes,
real
indeed.
talk. Okay. We, as the listeners of WBOK, appreciate the information that this program has put out over the years. I remember my dad listening to this particular radio station back in the day when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back to New Orleans, I looked you guys up, and I realized why he was listening, because he was a smart dude. He didn't talk about politics like talking about, but excuse me, you couldn't come at him with no nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And he did pay attention to the news and the educational programs. You know what I'm saying? And so, brother, keep up the good fight. I don't know what's going to happen with your new time slot, because usually I can hear you around this time and I can call like I used to. But keep up the good fight. Keep giving us that information, that data, because like one of the owners of the station said this morning, Trump is trying to stifle information. He only wants to hear and see what he wants to put out there. And stations like this need to exist so that people can know what's going on. You can't sit up there and put your head in the sand, people,
right,
like an ostrich, and expect things to get better. You have to know what's going on.
Right.
You know, don't get fooled. This is the major okie doke that they've been trying to pull for a long time.
Yep.
And I can go into more detail, but I'm not. Basically, I want to say, brother, thank you for the information. I hope everybody else at this station continues the good fight as well. I'm going to try to listen in and figure out when I can catch you again, because I do like when you bring it to the masses, what's not normally brought.
Yeah.
So, appreciate you.
All right, T.
Love you, brother.
Same here,
All right,
brother.
y'all.
Talk to you in a minute.
All right.
Hey, Mr. Harrow.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to you. I'm in Altadena watching the cleanup, which is going to take years.
Uh-huh.
And what I'm hearing, I don't like. Tavis Smiley is not you, okay? So I happen to know a little bit. I don't like what the management of the station is doing. You come on here from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and which is good. And you have listeners here. But if you're coming on at 4 o'clock, that means that you're going to come on at 6 o'clock here.
No, 2 o'clock. If I'm coming on at 4 o'clock, it'll be 2 o'clock your time, right?
2 o'clock. Okay, 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I don't like it a bit. We have stations here, but they're not like yours. Okay, so if you're short of revenue, your sales department needs to bump up, needs to learn what to do and how to do.
Mm-hmm.
You used to come on early in the morning, real early in the morning before, but I don't like it. And some things that I would agree, I mean, like you talking about the shot of measles,
right?
I don't think you're quite informed. I really don't. And I'm surrounded by medicine. And I want to tell you, one day I want to talk to you about what a fraud that medicine is. And people trust it because they deliver what they say what they want to say. But medicine is not like you think it is, like I think that you think it is. Okay. Can I ask you, did they find the young lady or whoever it was that was missing?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, we had a similar situation. You know, I call and tell you about my nieces. I have 13. And I brag and say 5 of them have doctor in front of their name. And I don't mean PhD. I mean MD. One of my nieces during the Christmas holidays came up missing. She's a traveling nurse. And she was going, and I remember how you used to talk about when a black women would come up missing, they didn't put forth much effort to find them. But what they did, my niece was a traveling nurse, and she was going from Tennessee to Georgia. And the hospital called my sister in your state, North Carolina, and said that she hadn't showed up. So we all became concerned. And we believe in prayer. And everybody started praying. So anyway, the Georgia and Tennessee authorities, they said, we're going to stay with you till we find her. And I didn't know they can locate you by your cell phone. So they said, we're going to stay with you all night until we find, and they did find her. And they found her walking on somebody else's property, barefooted. She left her car and everything. But she was so smart, but there was some problems in the immediate family that caused she overworked and everything. So when they found her, they put her in a hospital. And we said, we're going to have to do something for this situation. But what I wanted to report is that Georgia and Tennessee, the authorities, they said, we're going to stay with you all night until we find. And they did. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, some good things can happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, and I said, well, how did I get this old to have this happen? But it worked out real good. On another subject, you know, Gene Hackman died. You know that.
Yeah, 90 years old, huh?
Yeah, well, see, what happened is, and they haven't completed yet, but they found him, his wife, and his dog.
And his dog. That sounds like some type of poisoning. I'm not saying food poison. I'm saying like they had some type of, maybe they turned the heat on and didn't have their, what do you call that when you're breathing in the
carbon monoxide?
Carbon monoxide poisoning. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Now I had my aunt years ago and 3 boys. They lived in Kansas City, and they heated with gas, and the gas pressure went down. They were asleep, and it came back up, and all of them were gassed. When we had the funeral, we had 4 hearses outside, and the undertaker would not let us see the bodies. So there was nothing. They sealed the caskets up. But anyway, I would just like to tell everybody that listens that you should have a carbon monoxide detector. We have it's against the law. I'm a landlord. It's against the law to have anybody in a place that does not, where you don't have a carbon monoxide detector.
Yeah.
But anyway, life is good, and I'll make some adjustments.
All right.
And you have people here, and I know people in New York that listen to you.
Yep.
But it sounds like, and I'm gonna just say what I want to say, that your management or whatever it is getting ready to foul up. From my point of view, foul up the situation. So I'll holler at you later. Life is good for me. Everybody should have a good life that wants a good life.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you much.
I'm getting. Yes. Okay. And
All right.
you all have a good evening.
You too.
And do what you have to do.
All right.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. All right, more coming up, y'all. Ronald, hold on. We got to take a break here. Let me take my break, and then I'll take you as the last call for the day. Hold on, y'all. More coming up as we get ready for the sports report next.
AURN News.
I'm Ebony McMorris. The U.S. Supreme Court has temporarily allowed the Trump administration to continue freezing more than $58 billion in foreign aid, delaying a lower court's order that would have forced payments to humanitarian groups. Chief Justice John Roberts issued that pause Wednesday night, giving the administration time to justify cutting over 90% of USAID's funding. Judge Amir Ali had repeatedly ordered the administration to release the funds, but Trump officials defied those rulings, claiming they needed time to review the spending. The cuts hit programs tied to disaster relief, medical aid, and refugee support. Critics argue Trump is overstepping his authority by bypassing Congress and jeopardizing U.S. humanitarian leadership. Supporters say it's about eliminating waste. With life-saving aid hanging in the balance, the real question is, will the Supreme Court back Trump's vision, or will it force the administration to comply with the law? For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Let's talk about the racist con game being played by the Trump administration, using DEI as a foil. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is being perpetrated by mostly white, ultra-conservative men as a policy rooted in so-called reverse racism to elevate black workers at the expense of white workers, specifically white men. So exactly what is DEI? It is a set of practices that promote fair treatment and people from all backgrounds. President Trump and his MAGA allies are using DEI as a wrecking ball to dismantle opportunities for people of color and other marginalized groups in our society. Some critics characterize this as a move to plunge the nation back into the dark days of pre-civil rights America. Who can forget the callous bigotry on display by the president when he attempted to, without any evidence, mind you, to blame the fatal helicopter and plane collision at Reagan International Airport on DEI? Quote, "They actually came out with a directive too white," he told reporters, blaming former President Barack Obama and Joe Biden for including black and Latino people in the federal workforce. "We want the people that are competent," he says. We now know that to be just another of the many lies that we've heard from the president. The pilots involved in that tragic incident were all white. Here are the facts about who benefits most from DEI programs. According to a report by Medium Corporate Publishing on February 5th, 2025, white women, men, and predominantly white institutions have leveraged diversity, equity, and inclusion programs to maintain and, in many cases, expand their advantages. Meanwhile, black and brown workers continue to be disproportionately represented in the workforce. Consider, white women have benefited the most from DEI programs, securing the majority of promotions and leadership positions. Asian Americans and Hispanic Americans have also benefited more than black workers from DEI hiring initiatives. Black and brown workers continue to be disproportionately underpaid, underpromoted, and underrepresented in positions of power. The DEI program, by the way, is an $8 billion with a B dollar industry, with most of the big contracts going to white-led consulting firms, according to the Harvard Business Review. On the contrary, diversity, equity, and inclusion is not hurting white people. It's making some of them rich. So when someone tells you that blacks are taking advantage of whites through DEI, tell them that's just a damn LIE. This is Norman Robinson off the top.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Join Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater for thrilling premieres, the beloved classic Revelations, and more. America's most popular modern dance company will rock your soul and renew your spirit with show-stopping performances sure to captivate longtime fans and first-timers alike. Coming to the Mahalia Jackson Theater in New Orleans on March 21st and 22nd. For tickets, call New Orleans Ballet Association at 504-522-0996 or visit novadance.com.
Sunday mornings are reserved for a good word on WBOK. This Sunday, be sure to catch Dr. Kevin Stevens Sr., the pastor of Christian Unity Church, for service and a powerful, full, inspiring word. Listen live every Sunday morning right here on WBOK.
The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks. Final few minutes here before I get out for Thursday. Ronald, thanks for holding, buddy. How you doing?
I don't know, but I just caught the end of it. So can you just tell me they're gonna change your time? That's the part I got, that your time slot would be from 11 to 2.
No, time slot start at 4.
Hello.
Yeah, it's time slot.
So your time is gonna be at 4 o'clock. 4 to 6.
Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll have that conversation. You know how that go. I just say, folks, we're going to keep listening. We're going to keep listening. We're going to keep working. But, we know what to do. And I'm not apologetic about it. We know what to do if it's not good for us. Because at this most critical time in America, the critical time in Louisiana, and mainly in New Orleans, we have to have the news that we can use for us to survive. And we'll be all right. We'll have off-the-line conversation. And they got some other folks just waiting on the fence. But we know how we come to this junction. Just remember the Committee for Talk Radio 22 years ago this year. We know what to do if we need to get to that route. So keep up the good work, Gerard, and listeners. Don't worry. We're going to be all right.
We got you.
I guarantee you. Thank
all
you
right.
again. And we're here. Talk to you soon.
All righty. That's going to wrap things up for me. Listen, before I go, on behalf of me and Jazz, I'll say this. We love y'all, and we hope you feel the same. But the information is what's more important than me or Jazz, and it got to move on. It got to keep going. So, in radio, there's always change. I've been fired. How many times I've been fired? I'm not fired, but because I know that'll be the next rumor. I've been fired from radio so many times, but that's just a part of the game. Yeah. But if it don't work out the way that they want it to work out, don't think that they won't fire me. And don't think that I won't, if it don't work out for me my way, don't think that I won't tell them I can't do this. So everybody got to live. Everybody got to get a check, and you got to pay your bills. So, all right, y'all. That's going to wrap things up for me. Coming up, it is the Sports Report. I will see you on tomorrow as we get ready to kick in the weekend of, that's going to be a Fat Tuesday weekend. Yes, indeed. We'll see you tomorrow, y'all.
From the campus of Xavier University.
Love.
WBOK 1230 AM. Go. An Equity Media Station.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Black civil rights attorney Ben Crump is demanding transparency after a February 12th Orlando, Florida police chase led to the death of black bystander Gerald Neal. He argues the chase began over an unreadable license plate while the suspect who hit and killed Neal now faces burglary and resisting arrest charges. A historic black Louisiana community in St. John the Baptist Parish lost its bid for National Historic Landmark status due to federal cuts. Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is celebrating after the City Council narrowly approved his $830 million bond for infrastructure improvements in a 26-23 vote. He calls it a historic investment in communities, but some aldermen remain skeptical. And a new historic marker now stands at the former Zion Cemetery in Tampa, Florida, a lost black burial site beneath an apartment complex. Archaeologists believe over 400 bodies remain buried. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
WBOK 1230 AM online at WBOK1230.com.
The Sports Report. WBOK 1230
AM. And welcome to the Sports Report here on WBOK 1230 AM. I am your host, Grant Sauer.